All right. You guys are good. I've got an appointment outside of the office at 2, so I might be back before. No, I'm probably not gonna. I won't see you.
What legs are we cutting off?
The right 2 legs.
That sounds really funny.
What whiteboard are we cutting? That back one?
People in?
Yes.
Hi, you guys.
Yeah, Mary Leah. They can.
Hi, Anita.
How are you doing that?
Susan said it can't go through the door. I think it can.
I'm here.
Hi there. How are
Yeah,
you?
just take it outside and
Good.
into the gallery.
How's the pups?
Pestering me today.
Okay.
You don't want me to song.
All right.
That's what she was saying.
My dog yesterday when it was
No, they just
thundering,
use little air stables.
she knows it's gonna thunder. She must just know.
And then we can.
So weird.
I think they sense something that we don't.
Yeah,
That's
like
right.
she'll start
I didn't
barking.
realize it.
Yeah, same thing with mine.
I was, you know, when
Yeah.
Susan says jump, I just say, how high?
Yeah.
And then like,
I hear you very much. I'm
Yeah, I get it.
5'8", so this should
What was
make it
that?
through 8-foot doors.
oh, I know, that's the siren or something. Yeah, so it's just Anita.
Hi, Anita. There's Tom, too.
Tom's here.
Really high, Anita.
Okay, dude.
All right, we'll see you later.
Yeah.
So should I wait until more folks come?
Well, wait, I think you're probably going to still have another person join you. So I would wait a minute or two and then you. Yeah, Mona's here. I see Mona's joined now.
Okay.
Do you see Mona?
Yep.
So I've got it recording, and so I think we're now did.
Oh, there we go.
This morning. Never mind. I was wondering if Joan was here.
That's Mona.
With,
Hi, Mona.
you know, with Coach Katie, but you weren't here.
Oh, no.
That was Patty was here. See ya.
We'll see you
Yeah,
later.
have a good-
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll catch up with you guys.
Yeah.
Hi, Mona.
How you doing? Look, I unmuted already.
You got it muted? Okay.
Unmuted.
Well, so far we've got 2 of you here, which is great.
To start,
Yeah, it's a start. So, how's everybody doing with all this that's going on? What is that out there, Tom?
first one.
That's the first Wednesday of the month.
Oh, yeah. I do need water eventually. Well, today our plan is to water when you get it, when you have time. To
I
think,
thought of it at the same time.
to think about working with groups of flowers. So thinking about, you know, whether there are many different kinds of flowers or just a garden that has a bunch of geraniums in it, or, you know, those are, you know, choices, but we want to talk about it and think about it a little bit. We have some pictures to show you, but I'm going to hold off and see if more folks come just to talk about the work that we did last week. So, yeah, so I was talking to Anita and I was like, a lot of times when we, for some reason, when we're cooking in the kitchen, the smoke detector goes off. And we don't usually burn stuff. It's not like that. It's more just the way that it's positioned. Whoa, Nellie. I just dropped a bunch of stuff. Anyway, but she just knows, the dog knows, thank you, she starts barking before it even goes off. She knows. Isn't that weird?
And,
They must know, huh, Anita? Thank you.
I read someplace too that dogs and other animals know ahead of time that an earthquake is happening as well. So they must have more, they're more sensitive, I think, to the environment.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because I was saying like she last night when it would lightning and then she would start to bark before it thundered. You know, she knew. Oh, I don't know why, but she's a good dog. Huh?
Our dog hides.
Some dogs do. I remember people saying their dog would go hide under the bed or just get the heck out of there. Yeah. So you left something.
Okay, you got him.
Yep, I'm good. Yep, thank you. So, yeah, Mona, how are you doing?
I'm good. You reminded me about the smoke alarm. Our kids thought it just meant dinner was ready.
Yeah. It seems like certain things that you cook in the oven, for us, it's not like we're trying to burn things, but the smoke detector goes off. It's kind of funny. Not really funny, but annoying. Yeah. So, so we're working on flowers today, and I thought we could maybe start with Anita to maybe show what you did last week. Would that work? And then I know Mona, you sent some photos in, and I think Julia did too. So Anita, do you have some things you could hold up for us to see?
What I did, okay, so I redid the iris that I did at the end of class. So this is the iris,
Very pretty.
okay?
Yep.
And then I did a couple of orchids,
Oh, wow.
Cool.
okay?
Nice.
I tried to get away, it's so easy for me to get into details, like with the iris, that I thought this maybe if I could, work more on just kind of general washes, so that was the idea behind this one.
Very nice. There's a lot of nice contrast in that one, Anita.
I really like it too.
I do too. It's
Yeah,
nice.
blending's really good.
Yeah, your values are great. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Mona.
So a few weeks ago when we did the wash in the back, that was,
Oh, with the
Different colors.
tulips.
yeah. So when you do that, do you kind of have in mind how you're going to use those colors?
Yes.
And do you, like if you have a little spread of yellow there, do you think I'm going to put my yellow tulip next to it or on top? I'm just going to use that for my first layer. What's your plan?
Well, I think you're right. And that is what we do a lot. I mean, you start with the lightest value to put the wash there for that flower. It can either be like we did that time. I think we did something that was really, what's the right word? Non-objective. It was just color, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then that was the basis for the flowers that went on top of it. So, you've got a yellow background, so you could go into pink because it's going to be pretty with the yellow and make peach. You could go into orange, you could go into red, and you can do green there because those colors are all going to be nice together because that yellow is a base. Does that make sense? So another way to do it would be, instead of just doing a generalized wash, you can do the actual flowers with your lightest value first and then build it up.
In a vague, loose kind of way.
Yep, that's one way to do it. Yep. And it's not the only way, but it is an interesting way to start, to be vague about it and then build your flowers on top of that. wash or that base that you've created, right? So, but another way would be to actually make the flowers themselves with the lightest value in the shape of that flower, and then build on that. So some of it would become background and some of it would become the flower itself.
So would you say you more often just do the background and then go, oh, this is going
Oh,
to be something I just
right.
thought of?
I hear you. So I think it's fun to change it up and do it however you feel like doing it. You know, there are times when, you know, when you feel like being loose like that and you want to approach your painting that way. And there are other times when perhaps you would draw the flower before you start, so that, and it's a tighter situation. It's a tighter painting. In other words, you're painting within the lines that you've drawn. So it's a different way. One is a little more direct, or we could call that direct painting, would you say?
Yep.
Yeah. There may be a better word that I could think of, but it's just using your brush and thinking about the shape of the flower or whatever it is you're making. Or you could draw first and then paint it so that it's much tighter and in control.
Do you ever draw on top of your first wash?
Yeah, so that's really another good point. So when we did those tulips and we laid down that initial wash with the different colors in there, once that's dry, then I can go in and I can draw my specific design or flowers or whatever it may be on top of that area, and then go ahead and go to my next layer of paint. Really good questions, Mona. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's important to be able to, you know, you can think about it ahead of time when you're starting a painting, or you could do a combination of all those different ways.
Yeah.
Right? So some parts of your painting, like last week we did that center of the painting, we did the center, and that was quite detailed, and we sort of zeroed in on that, and then the rest of it was a little bit looser. So you can combine, wouldn't you say, Tom?
Yeah, you can combine and it's looser that way.
Yeah, you can combine methods. And that's, again, one of the things that I think is so really fun about watercolor is that you can mix and match techniques when you're making a painting. It doesn't all have to be a certain way. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Good. That was really good question.
Mona, this is Tom. I generally a lot of times will work out my sketch on paper.
Okay.
And a lot of times when I'm ready, I'll draw out the area the size of the watercolor paper, and then I will put my sketch or drawing in there. And then I will transfer that onto my watercolor paper, so I'm not drawing directly on my watercolor paper.
Yeah, that's another.
So when you say transfer it, you mean?
Okay, very, very simply this. So you have pencil lines on the front of your paper, of your sketch.
Right.
Now turn your paper over and just lightly take the side of the pencil and shade in on all of your lines. Okay, now turn that back over to the front facing you. Set it on top of your watercolor paper.
Okay.
Redraw and see if your pencil lines are showing up on your watercolor paper, and you've just transferred your sketch. And the one good thing about doing that is if you don't like how it turned out, you've still got a copy to go back and do another one.
Yeah.
So don't use carbon paper or any of those kinds of paper, because it'll leave too dark of an impression.
So the paper that you're doing your sketch on, it's not like regular sketching paper. It's something thin so that you can do that tracery.
Yeah, you can do either or.
Yeah, anything will work. No, that's a good point. And sometimes you want to do something like that because maybe you really are afraid you can't redraw it or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah, so that's kind of tricky, but that's certainly something you can do. That's true. Very good. It's helpful. Somebody else join us?
yes, welcome, Deborah.
Hi, Deb.
Hi.
Hi there.
I was just sitting there for a long time. I don't know what was going on. So
Oh, we're just chatting. Mona had a couple good questions and we were talking about different techniques and approaches. So we
Cool.
were starting with Anita and she showed us some of her work from last week. And I think we're gonna move to Mona. And I think, can you remember to get that on there?
Let's see what
We're
we
gonna
can do
do a
here.
screen share to try and get that there. There we go. That's Mona's. Perfect.
oh my, that's nice.
Isn't that nice? Can everybody see that?
Yes.
So Mona, do you want to talk about this a little bit?
Well, that's basically just what I did last week. And it's pretty loose. So I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know where else to go with it, really.
Like it. It's lovely.
Then I'd say it's done.
Yeah, I would say it's done. I would agree with Tom. And the colors are so soft. And one thing I'm noticing is that you've really created some soft edges. But then you've also got a few harder edges over and over by a couple of the leaves. I can see it's crisp. You've left whites, which is very, very lovely, Mona. Your background is really interesting in the sense that some of those leaves are soft, and there's another word. I would say impressionistic, and then other leaves, a couple of them are a little bit more detailed, but we know they're leaves. That's what I like about it. I love the center. I like the combination of the circular parts to that center, and then those nice lines that are poking around in a kind of a radial manner. Very nice.
Thanks.
Really pretty. I would put a mat on that, Mona. There's another one. Very nice. That's a lot of fun.
Actually, it's sideways, but that's
Oh, I
on
see.
me because of the way I took the picture. But
Yeah, I can see that, but it works vertically as
Yeah.
well as sideways.
It does.
Your painting should work
mhm.
several different ways, but I'm kind of looking at it sideways. I like how you did the center, Mona, and I like how you let some of that center brown move into the petals of the sunflower. And it really is nice. Very nice. Does anybody else have ideas about that one?
Lovely.
I like how you left whites.
That is really a hard thing for me to do. So I'm trying to be aware of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because we want to fill up the whole paper with color. But reserving those whites it takes a bit of planning and just being aware of the fact that we're working from light to dark and we want to save paper white in certain areas. We don't have to save lots of it, but and it's nice to see the different shapes of white that you've left. They're kind of really cool in the sense that they're as I look at it from here, they're similar to the shape of the petals when I look at it, the whites that you've left, the negative space. So very, very nice.
Up, sure. Oh, there's 4? What else have we got on here?
I think Julia. Okay, this is Julia's, and she didn't come today yet. I did look at this at home, and one of the things I really like about this one is in the center, she's again reserved some whites, I think. Yep, but she's also got some orange happening right there in a kind of a neat way that it's, she didn't just make a circle and then put orange in the circle, but she's got it kind of dispersed in an interesting way. And I like her, she did the background, and then there's a little, like a stem. It's really cute when you scroll down a little bit. Yeah, it's cute. She's got some little ones in the background. Cute little painting. Fun. And then this one was sweet too. Very sweet. Yeah. I like the background in that one a lot. I think I might have added a few leaves there to define some things around that flower. But it's a nice painting. Cool.
Okay.
But I think that's it as far as
That's it, 4.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was out of town yesterday, so I didn't really check my email and stuff. So I'm sorry.
that's no worries.
No worries. Do you have anything to show today?
Well, I just have the 2 we did last week, and I really didn't really work on them after class. But I have this one was the flower we did together.
That's very pretty.
Yeah, and that okay. And then I had the bleeding heart, which I kind of showed at the end.
Oh,
of class.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was so fun.
But I need to work on, I see that you've got some kind of lines, so I need to kind of overwash it a little bit more in the background and just kind of play with it a little bit.
Okay.
But generally, it looks like a bleeding heart,
It does.
Generally, it looks okay.
I think so. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I got distracted by Kevin.
Kevin. Oh, hi, Kevin.
The
Hi,
dog.
Kevin.
He is my 3-foot paper mache project that I'm just finishing.
Tell us about that.
He's, well, I don't know. I was in the mood to do a paper mache, and it just got bigger than I intended. And so, yeah, so he turned into a 3-foot sculpture. He's pretty fun.
He's pretty cute.
He's a dodo bird.
A dodo bird.
Dodo bird.
I haven't done paper mache in a long time.
I don't, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I have a lot of time. And, the kids, a couple of my kids, I don't know if I told you, but I have 7 people living here. And several of them have been kind of in and out, just, going back to their couple of students, and they went back to their other homes, and things like that. And so I had more space, so I took over the kitchen table and started making Kevin. So.
How did you arrive at the name Kevin for him?
Oh, it's kind of a family joke. When the kids were little, they used to watch this show that was 3-2-1 penguins, and there was one penguin whose name was Kevin, and the kids would just love it. And so I don't know, one of the kids walked by and said, "It looks like a Kevin," and we just laughed and said, "Okay."
Oh, that's really cute.
Do you-
Very creative.
Do you remember Felix the cat and Baboom?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
So sometimes you just gotta do something kind of wacky and not have to explain why. So
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. My son, he got some wood because they trimmed the tree to get the wood, and he's been making bird houses with roofs on them.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
Yeah, with whittling. I whittle.
Oh, really? That's a lot of work.
Yeah, so keep him busy doing interesting projects.
Yeah, I forgot how much paper mache is a lot of work too.
It is a lot of work.
Oh my
I know.
gosh, it's like 5 weeks. That's 5 weeks of Kevin, Just-
5 weeks.
yeah,
Good for you.
Wow.
My sister made a COVID blanket.
yeah.
She just was knitting and just kept knitting this blanket with all kinds of scrap yarn.
Yeah.
So, right. All right, you guys. Well, I'm excited you're here today, and we'll go on. We're talking about bouquets of flowers or gardens with flowers in them. So I brought a few things just to show you and to think about, but I thought for a little demo or just a little follow along, it might be fun. I brought in a geranium. I thought it might be fun to just do what Mona, we were kind of talking about that earlier, about just using your brush to make the petals of the flower, or we call this direct painting. So I thought it might be fun just to do this first for just a little warm up, and then we'll proceed with our bouquets of flowers.
What, interchange?
Yeah, you guys with me on that?
Sounds good.
Okay. So we're gonna put the camera so that it's down on my,
So for this one, we just need a small piece.
you just need a small piece of paper, and we're gonna just paint without drawing for fun.
Anybody dizzy yet? How's that?
Perfect. Can you guys all see what's in front of me here?
Yep.
Okay. I think, you know, when you're going to do, this is another approach. We kind of talked about it a little bit, but an approach that is quite direct. You can be looking at something, you know, perhaps you're outside or you're on your front porch and you have a pot with some flowers in it, or you just have a photo image. That's fine. So usually when we do something like this, when we have a big grouping of flowers, which it's kind of good to think about, when we look at this area right here, the artist that did this, she started with her bigger shapes. So these sunflowers would be her bigger shapes that she placed here. And I think that one of the important things when you're doing this kind of work is to be very observant. In other words, you want to really, just like observational drawing, you want to be able to really look at whatever it is you're depicting. In other words, looking at the shape of the petals and being really aware of their shape to get it down on your watercolor paper. So I like the placement of these two here and one over here. That really works. And then when you look, when she moved down here to the next area, she's looking at some of the shapes that are inside these three flowers here, and then getting into some darks that are surrounding the flower. And then, you know, she continues on over on this page. But I think this is really what I wanted to say, is thinking about the shapes and being observant and looking at the colors that you see. So here, going back to this one, you're seeing a lot of different different yellows, that some have a bit of orange in them, I would say, and some are lighter and some are warmer and some are cooler. Okay, so I thought that was important to show you. If you choose to do a painting that is not a painting that involves drawing, okay? Either way, if you draw first, here it is on the cover. It's pretty, huh? Pretty loose, right? But even if you are drawing your flowers first, you're still going to be observing, right? You need to really look and be thoughtful about how you work. So I have this geranium here, and I'm noticing that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals and various shades of pink. But I'm going to do a little direct painting here, and I could lay that there, but you guys could, you know, look at anything that you have if you want to, or you can just follow along with me, that's fine. So I'm going to be dipping. Let me get my paints over here and get ready, guys. So I'm going to be working with some pink here. If you have the alizarin, that will work. And I'm getting a nice puddle here of that color. So I'm not going to dampen this. I think this is a lot more pink though. That's a lot better, a little bit better. I'm not going to dampen the paper first. Kind of getting my color mixed up. So you might want to do that if you've got a place to mix your color, get it organized first. So I'm thinking about these flowers. Let's see about that one. That better.
What size brush are you using?
I've got a 10
Okay.
and a round. Now I could switch over to my bigger one, but I'm just going to start with this guy right here. All right. So the way that I would start is I would think about how do I want this to go on my paper, and I'm going to use my brush to create these petals, and I'm going to start kind of like right here in the center. I don't know if you can see those tiny little marks that I made, but those are my center. And then I'm going to take my brush and just use it to move along here. And then I can come in and soften a bit as I bring it in.
Can everybody see that okay?
Could you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, just a minute.
Or if we could put it on the paper towel. Would that work? Oh.
Look at you. Brilliant.
I think that thing could use like a, what's that called?
A clip.
A clip.
I think
Okay,
you
good.
will.
We put it on the paper towel, you guys.
That's nice.
That worked kind of good. Hopefully I don't bump the paper towel, then we're gonna come tumbling down. But anyway, so I'm just gonna, whoa, that's cool. So it just focused in even closer. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing for another one of these petals.
Did you clean your fingernails?
I did, I filed them. Yeah. Can't really get out to get any pedicures yet, right?
No, yeah, just look at my hair.
Yeah. So I'm popping in a little more color here to the center.
I think like Mona said, it's hard to leave whites.
I left some whites.
It's really hard
It
to
is very hard.
kind of want to do a big old swipe of the color and
Well, I do too. So I have to tell you that there are times when I just get a big piece of paper and just paint color on it. I love that. And maybe we could do something like that. That'd be kind of fun if you guys are game. You may not know what you're going to get. In other words, you could create a very interesting background. And we were talking about that earlier with Mona was mentioning that idea of, you know, you make a background and then you're like, oh, maybe this is going to be for this. And that's cool. So I'm just really trying to observe as I'm talking way too much. Observe these petals as I go along. And I think I didn't get quite the right pink, but that's okay. You know, you could make something a color that a different color than it really is if you want to. That's okay. I'm pulling out a little color right there. I got a little heavy-handed on that. Okay, so let's see. Maybe we'll try a little purple to go into this. So if I want to do a little bud, I'm looking at the bud. Well, I'll put it right there. Oh, that's really big, guys. He's laughing. Okay, so let's see here. I forgot where I was. It doesn't really matter, but anyway. Okay, I'm going to put a bud right here. And I'm just going to start like at the top with my brush. Gotta have a sense of humor, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I know, I like this paintbrush a lot.
It holds a lot of pigment in water.
Yeah,
Wow.
whoops. Made a little bit of a boo-boo here, but that's okay.
No.
It's all right. All right, so I'm gonna try a couple other petals. Got some buds going on. I'm gonna put a petal right here, a couple petals here. And let's see, I'm gonna turn it a little bit. So it doesn't have to be exactly the way that you're, why can't I think of the way this should go, Tom? Because I'm left-handed, we can blame it on that. Okay, yeah. Just blame it on that. Oh, I don't mind.
No, and let me hold it a little farther away, and then you can get a different
Oh,
perspective. on it.
okay. I don't mind
Yeah, no,
holding it. Kind of helps me to be able to do that, actually.
then you can see the whole thing so a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me when you want it back.
And they're just probably following along, right?
We're just watching.
Oh,
I think I'm following along.
Okay, they're following along.
okay.
At least I am. I don't know about everybody else.
Yeah, you really, like, as I look at this, I don't know if I've ever looked that closely at a geranium, the petals of the geranium. I mean, I have, because you kind of know what they're like. It's kind of like an apple, like, you know, oh, that's an apple, right? But when you look at it a little more closely, you see a lot of subtleties and different aspects of it that I might not have been paying too much attention to before. So that one is coming towards me. That's a little harder, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of drawing a little bit, aren't I? I can do a little bit of drawing with something like this because I know that I can quickly get in there and get rid of those edges. That makes sense. You don't want to do a lot of drawing with your brush when you're going to have to, when something's pretty big, I would say, right?
Right. Just draw in small sections that you know you can
Quickly,
catch with water.
quickly get into. Yeah, that's not too bad. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Sure. Move it. You good? Or?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks. I can just pop it down. We're using a paper towel roll to jimmy rig the camera and the flower that I'm looking at. So
I just thought of it.
we're being creative over here, that's for sure.
I'll be back.
Okay. So there we go. I could add another flower if I want to, which I probably will go ahead and put another little petal over here. Probably right around here. And I got into a little more purple than I wanted, so that's okay. Oops. Oops. So when it's wet, I'm popping in more color. As you can see, it's still damp enough that I can do that. I can get darker in the centers at this point if I want to. So there's a little grouping. And I could go in now with my green if I'm ready, or I could go and get a little bit darker where I need to in here. I usually have a little tissue near me to wipe my brush off as needed. You can see that it's drying a lot lighter, isn't it? There's one, maybe a couple more petals, or a little bit of, maybe put one over here. Okay, so I could get into my green now. And I think that the key here is to use a couple different greens and not just one green. So mix up a warm green and then a little lighter green, and then maybe something a little more blue perhaps. I think it's important to do that so that it's not all the same. And I can kind of making a mess here with my paints, but that's okay. So that's a good green right there. So I'm noticing, you know, where the connections are and thinking about the stems on here. They're not the stems, but they're what joins these guys together, they've got a lot of purple in them actually, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to use my green and add. How did you get that in there, Tom?
What?
Oh, it's okay. You got that in there somehow pretty good. The green is going to end up getting mixed with some purple. There, that's really nice. It's almost a brownish. There, that's pretty. Brownish green. That's pretty. There. Okay, good. So thinking about these guys and they're kind of joining, and I have to think about where I want to have these come. So you'll notice this on the different flowers that you choose to paint, but that's not quite right. Whoops. I kind of goofed it up, but that's okay.
Are you using the warm green right now?
I'm using a green that got mixed with a bit of purple. Yeah, but any green will be just fine. I wouldn't worry about that.
The analytical person in me just hates hearing that.
Yeah, I get it. So what grade did you teach, or do you teach, I should say?
I don't do school teaching. I just lab. I teach karate.
Oh, cool.
175 students.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where do you do that?
In Champlin, Professional Karate Studios in Champlin.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I love it.
Well, I bet they love having you for a teacher.
It's just so fun.
Yeah.
Just so fun. I don't even know how to even explain it, even more than that.
Aw.
Teaches such good skills, and I love the relationships I have with the kids and the families, and
Aw.
I have been grieving hard since this COVID thing. As you probably figured out, I'm quite an extrovert, and it's just been hard on me to not have as many people around me as that I am accustomed to and that I love. So
Oh, I get it. I think it's been hard for a lot of us. I miss having folks in the studio.
yeah,
And I mean, and I know I've said this before, I'm grateful that we can be doing it this way, but I miss seeing folks and seeing just the camaraderie and just being together. You know, it's really, really nice. So, but we're together in a different way, right? I think.
yeah, it's just hard. It's hard. I laugh. I live with this huge house full of people, and if I didn't have them, I'd really be off. But
Yeah.
they are introverts.
Oh.
All of them, like all of them. And so, I just told them, you guys need to support me now, because I'm the one that needs the support, because I need more contact.
Yeah, I get that. And
Because they would
everybody
not leave their rooms all day long. They don't have a problem with that at all. In fact, when I told I have one disabled son, and I said, okay, so this means that you can't, go many places. You need to stay at home and blah, blah. And he looks at me and goes, so just do what I normally do.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I get that. I've heard that as well. Yeah. It's very challenging. Well, anyway, that was my little rendition of my flower. It didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted to, but I think you might have gotten the idea about the direct painting process. It doesn't quite look like a geranium, but it's close a little. Anyway,
Neither does mine. Oh well.
It's okay. I see a lot of these over here, these petals. They have a little. Oops. All right. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm just doing a little bit of shading here and a little detail work on some of this. So anyway, it's a lot of fun to paint this way. And then if you were going to continue on and add another bouquet over here of something else, you can do that and join it all together in an interesting way. How you guys all doing?
Good.
Do you want to show me what you did?
Let me hit it with the dryer real quick.
Okay, who's first? So we start with Anita.
Sure.
All right, very nice.
Nice, Anita. Very pretty.
Mona, you're next.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, you
Nice.
did a good job
Yeah.
of getting the shapes.
And the shading and
Yeah, nice.
okay, Deborah. All right,
Fun, Deb.
very nice.
Love it.
Nice
Thank you.
colors, good shading.
Yeah.
This one's a little extraneous over here. I don't know. he like lost his focus in the photo. So, but you know,
Nice.
learning.
Good job. All right. Yeah, so let me just kind of move a little bit to something a little different. I want to show you some examples of paintings that are done that are bouquets. Now this one, I don't know if that's going to work. Yeah, that'll work. This is kind of cool. Not doing the chocolate bar today, guys. Yeah.
Upside down. There you go.
Okay. This painting is there. Is that better?
Yep.
I don't know if they can see the whole thing. But anyway, just in general, if you look at this, we're seeing this part of it. This actually, it's okay, Tom, I'm not worried. But what I want to say about this, the watercolor, a very detailed watercolor with a very, I would say, dramatic background. The background is really strong. So it just is kind of cool in the way that this is the focal point right here because it's pink and it's different than these other flowers. They're all detailed, right? But for some reason, because it's pink, because it's a warm color, we're focusing on that as our eye takes us there. the white flowers, as we talked about this last week, but we can really see the shape of those white, I think they're peonies, pretty sure.
And the white flowers do have a lot more detail in them, but the camera's not picking it up.
Yeah. So we're seeing that the reason we can see them so well is because it's surrounded by such a dark and dramatic background. I think I had another one here. This is another one. Let's see that. That's pretty too. So, and this one is a grouping of flowers. Again, it's really dark background. It's in a glass picture, which is really pretty. But it's another grouping that has some things that are poking out up here, which makes it really interesting as well, but then just a different grouping of flowers. So I wanted to show you those. Okay, anybody have a comment about that?
So would they do the background first?
No, this background would have been done later at the end. That's a good question. It would have been done last.
Yikes.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. So let's see here. I wanted to show them, there was a little painting here. Well, here they are. Sorry, you guys. This is a painting that is loose, actually, but it's a grouping of flowers. I'll take it out of the plastic so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so there again, very loose painting. You know that they're flowers, right? And then the background is really soft. And yet you've got a lot of white happening here. I like the different greens that are here, and this would be an example of the washes that are applied, and then another layer right here. You can see my finger, let's see, like right here, this was put in after the darker areas, especially of the stem. So there's a real loose approach, and another very loose approach would be this one. Take it out of the plastic. So it's fun to look at different ways that flowers get depicted that can be very detailed as far as almost like a botanical piece, or things that are impressionistic and very loose. So this painting is very loose. There's a lot of splattering on it, and it's got different colors. It's actually, there's a lot of vertical lines. I don't know if you can see that, and some dripping. It's a little wild, but for some reason I like it. It just reminds me of summer. Okay, any questions or ideas about anything about that? No? Okay, one more example and then we'll move on. But this is one that you can't really see the whole thing, but this is another one that was more direct painting, that each of these little pieces of the flower, I can't remember what kind of flower this is. Does anybody know?
Is it a bird of paradise?
Yep, thank you.
Bird of paradise, yeah.
Yep, I couldn't think for a minute. But each of these parts, these were painted separately, and you can't see my pencil lines, but I actually drew them before I painted them, because I can still see the pencil marks. So, you know, that's another way that you can work with a complicated sort of flower that might need you to go, oh, okay, so this is lighter here, but then there's a dark in front of it. Dark, light, light, and you can work in that way to get the depth that you need for the flower itself. So this isn't the whole painting, this is just part of it, but that's okay. No worries. Okay, any comments or ideas about that? All right, so really to me, a lot of painting flowers or really painting anything is being observant, looking at the shapes, thinking about the colors that you want to use. And you can certainly change up the colors if you feel like you want to, or you can use what we call local color. And that just means that you work from the color of the whatever it is, you know, whether it's pink or blue, you use the color that it actually is. Okay. So what I thought we would do today is, if you have photo images that you have, or a bouquet, do you guys all have something to work from?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so I was thinking that, you know, you can choose your method of approach. So if you feel that it would help you to do a bit of sketching, then I would certainly do that prior to starting. Okay, and then you can just think about the placement of where things are going to go. Did you guys draw yet, or are you going to work on drawing in class?
In class.
Okay, that's totally cool.
In class.
Okay, so the drawing part would be, you know, working right on the watercolor paper. I don't think we have, you know, we don't need to draw first and then transfer. I think we'll just go ahead and
Oh, no.
because that does take a bit more time. But I would think about your larger shapes and get those in first. Think about where they're going to go on your paper. Try and avoid putting the center of interest in the center of your paper. Try and offset it a little bit. So maybe it's on the right-hand side and up a bit, or perhaps lower. Think about those quadrants that we've talked about before, that rule of thirds. Another thing would be to think about, this is composition, right? Think about having maybe repeating three flowers if you're having a big bouquet. Maybe you have all the same flower that you're doing. I don't know, what you guys want to tell me what your ideas are for today, or what you're thinking of making?
Sure. I have just, this is from a seed catalog, I think. This
Okay,
with a kind of vague
pretty Mona.
repetition in
What
the
kind of
bottom.
flower is that? I forget. Echinacea, maybe. What is the?
Those aren't those cone
It's,
flowers?
I think it's a kind of, oh, here it is. It's a cone flower.
Cone flower. Tom was right. He gets the prize.
I only know those because Kathy grows them.
Fiery Meadow Mama cone flower.
Nice.
Those would be
So
the-
Mona, what I would say, what are you thinking about your approach today for that piece?
Well, as you were talking, I was kind of looking at it, trying to decide how to arrange it. That's as far as I thought.
Okay. Can you show me that image one more time? Would you mind?
Sure.
Okay. I like the idea of a vertical.
Mhm.
Might be nice. And then just maybe position that bigger flower over a little bit to the side of your paper.
Okay.
Pop it over to the right or the left, and then
Mhm.
have that, the cone part be, let's see. What am I going to say? Not right in the center.
Oh, not right in the center.
Yeah.
Okay.
So scoot it up a bit, which would be kind of cool. And then those other ones in the distance or in the background, those could be done with that soft wash we talked about, the way we did the turtle. Or, I was going to say turtle.
What turtle?
Oh boy. The
You
turtle.
missed that class.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, we did turtles. When was that? I'm just kidding. Okay, so the tulips, when we did the background, right?
Yeah.
So that's an idea. And then those guys in the distance or in the background are soft and
Mhm.
less detailed, and then that one is going to be the star of the show, right? That's going to be bigger and more detailed in the way that you paint it.
So would you do some of the background first?
Do you like doing it that way?
I don't have any idea really. But I'm thinking it might be easier than trying to work around the big one. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that because the colors are all similar, that doing a soft wash
Mm-hmm.
would be a good way to start. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would maybe pencil in lightly, if it helps you, at least the center of the cone of that flower and where the petals are. Get it organized a little bit. You don't have to draw every single detail, you know that. Just
Right.
a little bit of an indication of where stuff's going to go. Okay? So that's a really good example of combining sort of a tight aspect of a flower so that it's the center of interest, and then the looseness of the other ones that are in the background. Okay?
Got it.
All right. All right. How about you, Anita? Do you have a plan or an idea?
This was a cluster of they're in a square pot. They're all the same kind of like daisy sort of flower, but different colors. So I wasn't gonna plan on doing all of the flowers, but that's sort of a cluster like that.
I love that. So that would be a really good one to practice. Let's see, how can I say it? So you've got white flowers
Mm-hmm.
and you've got colored flowers.
Right.
So you're going to have to, maybe draw the white flowers at least,
Okay.
and then leave them white and work around them,
Okay.
right? So that would be a bit challenging, but really fun.
But that's partly why I took it, because I thought there'd be the extra for sure whites in there that I would have to deal with.
Yeah, and I think that that's a good project. I have a painting at home that's like that, and it's in a frame and it's big, so I wasn't really able to bring it, but I probably could take a picture of it some way and have you guys see it. But it's a good example of that. There are flowers that are white and all different colored flowers in this jug of it's kind of cute painting, but it was a lot of work because I had to work around those whites. Yeah. Okay, good idea. So do some drawing, get it situated on your paper. Are you going to have all those flowers be pretty much the same size? Is that the plan?
Some would be not really different in size, but a little bit, yes.
Okay, so we might want to exaggerate that a little bit, changing up the size here and there.
Okay.
Okay, and then so start with if you've got yellows, start with your yellow,
Yellows first.
and then move into your other palette of colors as you go along. And then I would kind of maybe wait till you get those colors done and then start popping in your greens.
Okay.
Okay, think about also, I know I'm talking a lot, sorry, but when you do this, if you've got a vase, you have to think about how you're going to get it on the paper. So I don't know if you can see this.
I'll go back to you.
Yeah, so think about the proportions of the vase and the flowers. So I want to make sure that either I can get it all on my paper. Oh, that'd be good. Thank you.
I just saw.
I know. So you want to make sure that you can get it all on the paper. Okay, here's the bottom of my paper right here. I don't know if you guys could see it. Probably not. Let me go this way. Here's the bottom. I don't want to position my vase right smack on the bottom. Here, I'll do this. This will be better. Still isn't. There's my paper. Okay. Pretend that's my watercolor paper. I don't want to go, oh, I'm going to put my vase right here at the bottom of it. I want to bring it up a little bit and pretend that there's a table or there's something here, you know. So you want to think about that. Okay. Here's a table, for instance. And then I want to make sure that the proportion, the ratio of the flowers is not completely equal. They shouldn't be the same, really.
Okay, got it. Yep.
Does that make sense? And then
Yep.
my flowers are like up in here, blah, blah, blah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Got some stuff hanging down here. But watch for that. Sometimes people, many of us will make the vase too small and it can't really hold all the flowers, or maybe it's too big. You could have it go off the page. That would be okay. Maybe there's some sprigs that are kind of going off the page. That would be all right. Maybe there's some things that fell on the table. Okay, is that helpful?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay, so what about you, Deb? Pretty,
Yeah, very
Yeah.
very pretty. All right, so you've got the same challenge as Anita. So I
Except
just
was
want to
gonna
say,
go-
huh?
I was going to just draw a portion of the vase and just have it go off the paper and not really worry about the vase too much.
Okay,
Is what I was planning on.
yeah, that'd be all right.
And just concentrate on the flowers.
Yeah, that's fine. And so I just want to say, I know that Anita and Mona know that usually when we're in the studio, I do come around and help people get their painting organized, and we're able to talk it through. So this is translating really well, you guys, and I'm so pleased because we're able to do this in this manner, you know, with being virtual, right? So the fact that you're holding stuff up, we're talking it through, this is working really good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just thought about that. I'm pleased. So you'll have the same issue, Deb, is trying to figure out how to do your white flowers and then do
Yeah, I might just make them pink and just
could make
use a
them all
different color for the big color because the
Well-
whites are not my friend.
well, it's a particular challenge to save white, but it is a very good lesson.
Yeah, I don't think I'm quite ready
You
for
could
it.
try a
though.
couple different paintings, maybe one where you change the color, do them all pink for fun, or maybe instead of being yellow, instead of being white, those little guys are yellow.
Mhm.
That'd be really pretty. And peach, because peach you can mix pink and yellow together and get peach. So you could try that, and if you have time to do another one, challenge yourself with the white.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
So good. Anybody else have a question? Okay, so I'm going to be working here. I've got to find something to work on, but I'll be working here. I'll get a fresh piece of watercolor paper out and work on something, and you can look at me if you want to, but just continue working along.
Now you can get more of your paper in.
Hmm?
You can get more paper in.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. That was a
You
good
bet.
idea. I have so many photographs of flowers, and you know, we used to always take them over to the Walmart or Target or whatever to get them printed off, and then you have them, and it's like, I just need to remember to do that because it's nice to have those physically to look at. And then they're your own photograph, right? So you guys, as you're working, just if you have a question for me, that's what I'm here for. So ask away if you are wondering about how to start, or you might get into the middle of it and go, uh-oh, what do I do next? So, you know,
I have a question.
okay.
This one, the main flower is a chrysanthemum.
Mhm.
And do you think, I was thinking about just kind of doing a solid outline, and then as it dries, add layers of petals getting darker going in. Does that make sense?
Well, if you do a solid outline, you'll
Like
end
drop.
up, you might end up with some hard edges. So I would work light to dark, Deb, and do your light flower petals and then go around. So once a petal dries, I guess I could show you how to do that. Once a petal dries, then you'll want to go around it with the darker petal.
Can you show me?
Yes, I can show you. So let me get a little piece of paper here that I can work on. I'm going to go get a piece of paper. I'll be right back. Oh, I know.
Got it, or?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, can you show me your picture one more time?
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Looking at that big chrysanthemum, the pink one.
Yep. Okay, so you want to think about the shape of those petals, right?
Yeah.
I had a picture.
Little V's.
So one approach would be to do a wash in the shape of the chrysanthemum itself. Think about the outside. Those aren't chrysanthemums. No. That's a good way to, this is a different kind of a flower, but it's kind of a good example of what you could do. So think about the shape of the flower. And I'm going to try and just do it all kind of in one value, basically. But then once this dries, whoops, see, I've already created a few petals. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so once this little part dries, I can go behind these. And I know this isn't exactly the shape of a chrysanthemum. Ugh, can't even talk today. Chrysanthemum, but this is the same basic technique that you would do. You see how I'm popping in color around these lighter shapes? That's one way to do it.
Okay.
I got into purple just so you could see it. That's more like these little flowers. know what those are. Cute little flowers.
Cosmos.
Cosmos.
It's a Name That Flower episode.
Exactly. And I have this really awesome book. It's just about all different flowers, and there's photographs and there's little paintings, and it's darling, but I searched and I could not find it. So, but anyway, do you get the idea here?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I could do another layer around these. I could get darker or I could go lighter. See how the what's going around it helps define it?
Mm-hmm. I do.
I think this could translate into what you're doing. Okay,
Okay.
that help?
I'll give it a try.
Paint's drying really fast today.
Yeah, it's really drying fast. And actually, these are not square on the edges. They're different shape, but I kind of squared them up. So basically, you think about the idea of light against dark and dark against light. I've really changed the colors here, but that's okay. That way you can kind of see it better. Going from purple to how's Paul's class going, Tom?
I wasn't there today.
Oh, that's right. Did you go to plein air painting too? Or?
I did last week.
Oh, you did? I didn't see you there. I went online virtually to see it, but then it didn't seem to work very well. So
Yeah, Patty said she had you on, and then you disappeared, and then I'd say about 20 minutes later, we didn't really get anybody, so her and Paul decided not to do it.
oh, okay.
We were under the little pavilion over there by that Anoka boat landing by the fairgrounds.
Okay. Were there other people that were there, or did it seem?
I think there were 6 of us.
No, I meant like other folks around.
Oh, no, actually there wasn't. Some maintenance people. But there really wasn't much traffic at all.
That's good. Oh. What about Deb Coder? Haven't seen her for a while. Or Pam, maybe. Whoops. Okay.
I feel like Deb was there.
Oh.
It was Patty, Mary Conway, Paul,
Mm-hmm.
the new person, Greg,
Yeah, I saw Greg.
me. I want to say there was another person there. It might have been Deb Coder.
Well, that didn't work very good. All right, I'm going to sit down. It's fun to do different flowers, do different shapes. You know.
Oh, yeah. I can see that you got fun just by watching.
Well,
You just whip that stuff in there. It's 226.
okay.
No.
Yeah, I think I'll just do a different little piece of watercolor paper. Oh,
Oh, how are you doing on water?
I'm good. Yep, thank you. A lot of times, you guys, I start with the center, but not always. And so you kind of have to evaluate, like with a sunflower, when I do a sunflower, I usually start with the petals and get those done and then add the center towards the end. Everybody doing okay?
Yep.
Good. Usually we have music going, guys, when we're in the studio here. Or else we're chit-chatting away, aren't we?
Yep. All the time.
I don't like music anyway.
It's usually quiet music. But if people don't want it, then we don't have it on. Right, Tom?
Background music is nice.
Yeah, and you know, you could have that at your house too while you're painting along.
I could sing.
You could sing. Tom could serenade you. My son, who's a elementary art teacher, they're wrapping up now, but it's so cute. He does these lessons with the kids, and a lot of them are animated, and it's really been fun. But he sings to the kids. He has his guitar down there.
Oh,
And
really?
he sings them songs, and it's cute. So they're wrapping things up. For the summer. You had to go and take down all the artwork that was up on the walls, and then they're going to deliver it to somehow the kids are picking it up. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go, but
Sometimes the buses deliver.
yeah. And they're having a little graduation for the 5th graders, which will be real sweet. I think it's either tomorrow or Friday. I can't remember.
Why are the 5th graders graduating?
Well, they're moving over to the junior high.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's a K-5 building.
Where I went to school, it was 1 through 6,
Yeah, me too.
and then 7, 8,
Yep.
and then, yeah. 9 through 12.
Yeah, me too, Tom.
Yeah, I did 1 through 6 and then 7 through 12.
Yeah, it changes, doesn't it? As I don't know. I've really been enjoying the birds this early summer. And yesterday it was really cool. I kind of had on a peach colored sweatshirt or hoodie or zip up. And I was standing on the front porch, and a hummingbird came up like really close. It was really neat. I'm like, oh, hi. It was so cute. He must have thought, I don't know what. But there are a lot of flowers out on the front porch right now, so he was interested in those flowers. I gave myself a little bit of a challenge here, guys, because I'm looking at this. So, yeah, and I'm probably we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll make yellow daisies, not white ones. Oh. I can hear some birds in somebody's yard over there. Somebody have the window open?
I do.
Nice.
That's probably mine.
Yeah, it sounds nice, Anita. Boy, that got really light, didn't it? Really light. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, I'm fine. This one, oh. Has anybody been out to eat at any restaurants yet? Or I know you can go and sit outside. Has anybody done that yet?
Not since they opened up. I've done the drive-in pickup thing, but
Yeah.
my favorite place is Bricks in Blaine.
Oh, I haven't been there. Oh, yes, I have. I know where you mean.
Just love their burgers.
Oh, they're over there kind of by Target, maybe?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Mhm. Everybody doing okay?
Yeah.
How are you doing, Tom?
Susan has a present for you.
Oh, my pottery. Nice. Thank you. That was fun, actually, to make the. Has anybody done any pottery? I thought you did, Deb, maybe. With the,
Yeah, I did the handbell class and then I just did the tile class.
nice. Did you have fun?
Yeah, it's very forgiving. It's kind of nice that way.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't like it, you can just like crumple it up, and
That's very true.
these things are important to me.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes, to be terribly honest with you, like I'll start a painting and I'm not happy with it, and I'll just either use the other side or say, oh, okay, goodbye. That's
You know,
all
and
right.
I think that's hard for me because I'm a bit, I didn't realize how perfectionistic I really am. And it's hard for me to have a bad start.
Uh,
Hard to feel like, oh, I want to keep going on this or start over when I have a rough start on something. Isn't that, I don't know if that's
well, I
normal.
think that there is something to be said for trying to, I would use the word resolve uh, a, a, an issue that you're having with a painting. You know, you have to kind of think about, okay, what could I do to make this better, and why isn't it working, or something like that. And so it's a good challenge to stick with it and see if you can resolve it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. And I've done that before too, where I've been, oh, or another thing that's kind of fun is to give yourself a little assignment that's a bit challenging, like the white flowers, or, you know, or just something that's challenging you in a different way. So I think that's fun too. Wonder how that turned out. I'm gonna go look at my pot.
So did you do it on the wheel?
That kind of cute.
Oh, yeah, it looks great. So does the other face for the wall.
How cute. I didn't know it was gonna be dark.
Oh, it's really hard with blazes.
Yeah, I'm missing my bird though.
Oh, yeah, I'll go ask her.
There's a bird.
All right, I'll go back to the store.
It turned out nice.
Is it a big bird?
No, it's about like this.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. Is Kiana wearing a mask?
She's always got a, she wears it quite regularly, actually.
Oh, that's very nice. Are you guys wearing masks when you go out? How does that work for you?
I wear a mask everywhere I go.
Yeah, we have been too because, well, just kind of just to protect my husband, and he's been doing a lot of the shopping, grocery shopping, so, but he wears a mask.
Does he have underlying health issue?
No, no, he's just a little older, and he got laid off, so he's been home, and so, and my
See, now,
son, pardon?
I've had cancer twice, and my husband has severe asthma, so we
Oh,
don't want to get sick. I
no,
mean,
you don't.
we're, worried about that. So
I know it. I know. I hear you. Yeah. So we've been very cautious. The only place I've been coming is here to the art center. Oh. How about you others, you guys?
Well, I haven't really gone too many places, but I did go out yesterday to get my hair cut, and you had to wear a mask the whole time. That was a little awkward sometimes for her to cut around, but
Yeah.
it worked.
Good.
My
My-
dogs don't seem to mind the mask, so they're okay with it.
Yeah. Well, my sister lives in Michigan, and they're required to wear a mask, and so it just sort of makes it a lot easier for everybody because you have to wear one. So because here people are, some wear them and some don't, and that's okay. It's just, you know. Just remember too, as you're working along, that it's going to dry a lot lighter. I ran into that with mine, and it's actually pretty dry here today, and it's drying quickly. So just keep that in mind. You might have to go back and get some more darks in, and I realize that I'm going to need to be doing that on mine. My little painting. Let's see. I could go there. So can you maybe talk to me a little bit about some other subject matter ideas that you guys have? You want to think about it a little bit?
I wouldn't mind doing another landscape kind of thing.
Okay.
I seem to, that's the worst, my worst is the landscapes, I think.
How did you do the other day with that little lake?
Water.
I changed it. Well, I had to change it a little bit, redo it, I should say, because I spilled my soda on it.
Ah, that happens, right?
Went back and fixed the trees a little bit, and yeah.
No, that's cute. No, that happens, right?
Added some birds and like that, so.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that?
Sorry, what was the?
Oh, a little landscape, to do another landscape?
I could use a lot of practice on that.
Okay. Deb, are you okay with that?
Sure, should be no problem.
Okay. Did you guys all do the one with the lily pads?
No.
I have not.
That's not really a landscape though. Did you find it? Oh,
Did you do this?
uh-huh.
This is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, well, the story behind that is that right before things kind of closed down, I did a class at one of the elementary schools for Angie
Uh-huh.
because she couldn't go or something. I forget. There was a conflict. So I did the bird with the kids. And I had my sample and I brought it home and then I just kept kind of playing around with it until I was happy with it. So. I do like working with clay.
I did not think I would, but I do too.
You did?
I like the wheel. I don't like the tiles and all that.
Oh, okay.
I like the wheel.
Yeah.
What are the tiles that you're talking about when you do clay?
Let's see. Deb, you could explain it probably better. I think what it is, Anita, it's just a class that they had here, right? And
Yeah.
they made tiles with flat pieces of clay, and I kind of think they added stuff to them, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you kind of like, here's one that I did.
Yeah.
And you do
Oh, cute.
Oh, I see. Okay.
some relief carving and some adding on and adding your
I know
underside.
what you mean now. I know what you mean now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, it is kind of fun.
Yeah. I think Barb was in that class. Barb Lewis.
Yes, she was in the hand slab one or the
Yeah.
hand built one. Yeah.
Yeah. Is Angie back there right now?
No.
right, so Mary Lee, I feel like I need to add a couple more flowers because it's the proportions don't feel right on this.
Okay, hold
But
it up. Oh, that's cute.
You see it okay?
I like it. I like your colors. I like the pink and then the yellows. Um,
but like I think over here
Oh, nice.
it's not. It feels too. I think it needs to be foofier. Is
Well-
that a technical term, foofier? Yeah.
Oh, you sure? So what I would say that might be kind of fun is to add some more sprigs. You know what I mean by sprigs? Of little
Inside
stem
and leaves. Yeah.
with some things that are on it. Let's see if I can
Oh,
find.
like little berries or something.
Yeah, let me see. I think I had a picture of something like that somewhere. Where was it? I think it was in this. No.
And instead of doing darks, like adding darks, I use whites instead. You know, I just like left it white where it to show a little contrast.
Yeah, that's totally fine. It's a good idea.
That might work.
Nice. Let's see. Well, I was trying to find something that was a good example, but maybe just, oops. I don't know if you could see this cover of this. It's very splashy, but she's got some little sprigs poking out
Oh yeah.
that might be kind of interesting, and it would give it more, so it's not so much just a circular design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be cute. So we'll probably stop in about what, Tom, maybe 15 minutes?
Yep.
And then we can talk about what you're doing and where you're headed with this piece. Maybe, you know, you may not finish it today, and that's okay.
Yeah. Almost 3 o'clock.
There goes the train. Heard a lot of helicopters the last.
Oh, there's been a lot of helicopters.
Yeah.
We're using military helicopters to put out some of the fires.
Okay.
You know how they do the forest fires with the big drop of water?
That makes sense, huh?
Yeah, they're doing it to some of the cars on the freeway.
Oh, what a weekend, huh?
Yeah.
my,
Okay, how about stuff? Yeah. Kind of stuff. The what was the what is that one long-term meeting that the
It's really hard to paint our roses.
yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Uh-oh.
oh, I'm always splattering paint everywhere. Or I don't anticipate to do it.
Yeah, splattering is a little hard to control sometimes.
Not that I was intending to do it though either.
Oh, sometimes you could just put like a piece of cardboard or something up over your painting so that you just splatter where you want to splatter.
I think I'm gonna have to do that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Did a lot of those start yesterday on SQL? Yeah, we had a bunch of SQL job problems last night. Yeah, things failing left and right.
Can you hear that?
We may be hearing more about that in the very near future. We don't have a confirmed smoking gun yet, but there may be one by the end of the day. All the SQL jobs that run on a nightly basis to move data to the reporting server from all the different places, all of those failed last night.
Okay.
Backups,
I don't know where it's coming from.
Inadvertent issues caused by that testing last night. On multiple servers.
Different when you put it under the screen, you can see what you need to fix.
But Paul said there were some other things too that were funky last night that were at the problem.
That's not Larry. So you guys, I'm adding a background. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm kind of playing around with some positive and negative shapes and popping in some darks around these flowers. Some of them are obviously pretty abstract. I'm not quite done yet, obviously. I'm working on it, but I'm doing a little positive and negative painting here and there, which is kind of fun. Like right here, where there was a light wash, and then I painted over it to create some leaves. So I'll need to do more of that to balance the piece as I work my way around this. Okay. Oh, and I got to get up here because it's going to end up with a hard edge. See what happens? That's a good example of what not to do. Right here. So now I need to go in darker to kind of get rid of that.
Yeah, it's been a major pain. Business, yeah, so the business didn't have up-to-date data today. And Oliver's been involved, so he'll find, we have a 4 o'clock meeting here where we're gonna, I don't know if we'll have for sure smoking.
Have you gotten much carry out, Tom, or you mostly just eat food that you guys make?
Mostly what we make. We just started doing carry out about a week ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We were talking about that.
I'm eating too much ice cream.
Oh, I know. Mike makes ice cream and he gets ice cream and then he puts the chocolate sauce on top of it.
Yeah, ever since I was sick last year, I just crave ice cream all the time.
Yeah, well, it sure is yummy.
And I have to quit because
We do too, really.
Yeah, we're supposed to wear our face masks in the house now. You know why?
Why?
To keep us from eating.
Oh! Yeah, I hear you on that. Are you the one that cooks for all those folks at your house, Deb?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
But I'm pretty good at cook bulk. I grew up with a large family.
Yeah.
So it's not uncomfortable for me. And then I just try to make foods that I can break into individual containers and freeze.
Oh, that's smart.
So, you know, if I make a cream-based soup, I'll stop halfway, and before I add the cream in, I'll take it and freeze the rest of it, you know, half of it, and then add cream to the other half so that we can have that right away, and then be able to freeze some of it and stuff like that. So
That's smart. I never would have thought of that. Really good idea.
do you think I should add some color in this background? Because it feels like maybe I should do like yellow or something, or pink, or a really light
Yeah,
pink or something.
I think it could handle it. You've got the one yellow flower. What color are the flowers on the outer edge?
Kind of peachy and pink, and well, they're all three, peach and pink and yellow. And I
So
think like a really light blue or something.
yeah, I would go with the light blue. I was just gonna say that. That would look really nice.
I
So
did
just-
I added some folky things, you might notice.
Yep, I like it. So when you do the background, make sure everything is dry before you start, right? And then you can kind of work in sections and get it a little bit damp around where you want to put your background, and then just start floating in the color. Okay?
How much edge do you leave? Is there a general rule?
Edge around the flowers?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Or
there's not a
none?
general rule. Just, yeah, you just leave a little bit of edge, a little bit of white, or, yeah, that should be fine.
When you say a little bit, I need a little more information.
All right.
I mean, like, are you talking 2 millimeters? Or are you talking 4 millimeters?
I'm talking smaller.
Like just a barely an edge?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's questions I have.
No, I like your question. Let's see. I don't know if I could show you. So what I would do, let's see that picture right there. This is probably a good example. So what the edge that I've left, I would use the word intermittent. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
So all of it isn't the same. It's maybe a little thick and thin here and there.
Got it.
And so I got a little tiny bit darker when I get into the interior here, or where these connect, like here and here. So while it was wet, I just popped a little bit deeper value in there. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. And let's see, I don't know if this one shows it very well. Probably not, because these are white flowers.
I was gonna, yeah, that's gonna
It's
be
not gonna work. So yeah,
what I'm seeing. here.
okay. So should we?
Those judgments are just hard to make, you know.
Oh,
when
I
you're-
know. And if yeah, when we're in the studio,
You
then
would be able to say, oh, why don't you get in a little closer on that?
yes, I would be able to see it better, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
get
we'll
that.
stop in a few minutes, and then I can take a peek at what you guys are doing and see if I can help you out a little bit.
Well, I definitely need help with background.
Okay. So, yeah, maybe in about, what time is it?
It's 13 after 3.
Okay, so 2 or 3 minutes, guys, and then we'll take turns showing what we've been doing and have questions. Okay?
Sure.
I'll tidy this up. That might be okay when I get it done.
Oh, yeah, when it's done, sure.
Maybe I'll leave this out for questions. This goes home. I think I need to print out some of my, oh, does not want to come up off the floor. I don't want to do my hand again. Touch the floor. This would be fun to try and do some little,
Oh, yeah,
really hard.
that'd be a nice challenge.
Really good challenge. I had a painting of some trillium that I did, and I don't know where the heck it went. Just 'cause I didn't really use this much. They want to do landscapes again.
Okay.
To think of something different. Something different. There. There. This was mine. Yeah, so this could be soft in here. And I could just accentuate this,
Mhm.
maybe. I'll leave this out in case they have questions. Okay, so you guys, what we'll do is we can take turns and you can show what you've been doing and then ask any questions that you might have and we can take a peek and see what's up. We should leave this like this so they can see that we did.
Sure.
Okay,
Who you want to start with?
I kind of want to go get hand sanitizer.
Oh, go ahead.
Good.
Sorry. You know where it is.
I'm gonna call Anita up.
Okay. Hi, Anita. You're going to be first. She'll be right back.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
And she's back.
Right.
Anita, you're on the air.
Okay. So here,
Aw.
so for the background, I don't know if you can tell, all I did was just kind of wash in some greeny yellow on the bottom and some bluey greeny on the top.
Yep.
Left the basket. I was afraid to do much with the background because the flowers are so busy.
I think you nailed it with that idea. I think that works really well. Thanks, Tom. I think that works really well. So, you know, it's not always the case. You think of Matisse and how he did some pretty busy paintings with lots of patterns and things, excuse me, going on. But I think it's nice when you, when you have a lot of flowers like that to have a quiet background. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
very nice. Fun. Is that something from your yard that you took a picture of, or?
No, that was just a picture from a magazine. It's not exactly how it is in the magazine, but that's what gave me the idea, was just
Nice.
a bunch of daisies.
Yeah. So that's another point, just to think that, and I think we touched on this a little bit before, but you can mix and match things. So you can have a picture from a magazine and certainly you want to change it up a little bit so that it's not exactly the
Mhm.
exact picture. But yeah, nice. Yeah, that's really cute. So that's something to keep in mind, you know, mixing things together into your painting itself. And then I think that's where I was going with that. And then also start to take more of your own photographs and use those. But yeah, I mix and match things a lot, and that's perfectly fine. Cool. So I think you did a nice job on that, Anita.
Thanks. Thank you.
Good.
It was more fun than I thought, given how many flowers I put in there.
It was a big project and you got going on it and got a lot done.
Hi, Mona. You're next.
Okay. So I started with this.
Oh, awesome.
And
Nice.
I learned that these really needed to be, this one needed to be bigger. Does that make sense?
Yes?
Yeah. So then I started over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So some
nice.
things got better and some things didn't.
Can you hold that one up again? That's really nice, Mona. Yeah, you've got the, what's the right word? The perspective, the depth,
Proportions.
the proportions, the feeling like that one is, you know, front and center, and the other ones are sort of receding a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what about background, do you think, for that?
Well, I put in just a little, I don't know if you can see, just a little bit of
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
green and blue.
Okay, I can see it now better.
So
Yeah.
there actually is a little yellow random.
Really pretty. It looks like there's a little bit of pink or alizarin in there. Is
In
there?
the what's dripping off, you mean? Or?
I can't.
So I don't know. Should I put more?
No, I think it's good.
Okay.
I can't.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Very nice, Mona. Good job.
Thanks.
All right. Hi, Deborah.
Okay, let's see. I'm just putting in the wash on the side over here. You can kind of see.
Yeah. Very fun. Looks really nice.
You can't tell what they are, so that's good.
I can tell what they are.
Okay, that's good.
Very
Not just
cute.
flour, you know.
Yeah. One thing I just noticed, can you hold that up one more time? Your little shadow under. Okay, so the bottom flower,
Yeah.
the chrysanthemum that's kind of going over into the pot,
Yeah.
you might think about going a little darker to create a bit of a shadow there.
Darker on what?
Below the flower.
On the pot?
Yeah,
Or-
on the pot and into that white a little bit. So
Okay.
take it's hard to explain it. Take the color of the vase
Mhm.
and go a darker value of that color. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And paint it a little bit below that to create
Okay.
a shadow of the flowers, because it would be darker there and you would not see the white.
Sure.
Okay, so you might have to do a couple layers where it's white
Mm-hmm.
to create that.
Okay.
Did you mix up enough paint to have that color?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna have to go over the whole thing, and I'll just have to make the base a little darker, and then that'll work, right?
Or
Yeah.
just try a couple swatches on a piece of
Yeah, that's
scratch
a good
paper
idea,
and then
too.
hold it against the vase.
Yep, good idea. Well, this was fun, you guys. I hope you had fun today.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Good. So next week, we'll do the same thing where you could send your pictures in prior to class, the ones that you just painted today. And then hopefully we'll get some from the other folks that couldn't join us today. And what else was I going to say? And we'll come up with a landscape lesson for you to do. And I'll think of something a little bit more specific. And I'll let you know in the little letter.
Okay, sounds good.
What's that?
I said, sounds good.
Okay. Are there any requests? All right, I'll surprise you. Okay?
Sounds good.
Good. Well, I hope you have a good rest of the week and enjoy the beautiful weather.
All right, thanks. See you next time.
All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Bye, Anita.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye.